Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
What's on Tap podcast, and I am your host as always, Stefan, and Matthias is out this week, so we are once again joined by Adrian.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well, actually.
Great. And we're at Adrian's place today, and we thought, I've got a couple of Evil Twin brewing beers. Why don't we do an Evil Twin episode?
Yeah, and who would say no to that?
No one. A crazy person, that's who. I did an order over Christmas off of boxbeers.com.
Yeah.
And picked up both of these. First up is the Evil Twin. I always felt closer to IPAs than I did to people. Yeah. And that's followed by the Evil Twin Imperial Doughnut Break.
Yeah.
So two very strong entries from Evil Twin.
Definitely. The Doughnut Break I've seen a lot of before, but the other one I've never seen.
Yeah, this one just came out. The double, it's a double dry hopped IPA. Came out right at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Was released into stores. So it's brand new on the market. It was batch number 1.
Good.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And then the Imperial Doughnut Break, that's been around for years. And it's always just kind of a nice one to see. And I can't remember if I've tried it or not. I've tried a bunch of his different...
Isn't it the Doughnut Break that Popples is brewing on license?
Popples did brew it for one batch.
Yeah, right.
They had some sort of short-term... They had some sort of agreement where Popples would brew Evil Twin for the Scandinavian market. And then the Systemit came in and and just killed it. So I think they only put out 2 beers.
Really? Systembolaget? So
Something about the government itself came in and shut them down. Because there was a loophole that allowed them to. There's something about Swedish beer laws. That's why you don't see a lot of gypsy brewing from people outside of Sweden brewing in Sweden. Because there's a law that prevents something like that.
That's just crazy. But I would put a stop for Ale Farm at Brewskis or whatever. Mm-hmm. I thought that was brilliant. We got the infamous Evil Twin, which was really hard to get suddenly at Systembolaget. I remember it, and I wasn't sure it was this exact version, but it was, right? Yeah,
it was the Imperial. Was it Biscotti or was it the...
That was the Biscotti Break. That's true.
It was the Biscotti Break is what they did.
It was.
And that came out once, and then they did another one, which I believe was Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Which was a IPA of some sort. It was kind of a under the radar release. It didn't get a lot of hype.
No, I missed out on that one, or I avoided it. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I definitely got a lot of those Popple stouts, and I like those. And people said they were thinner than the American, but I disagree. I could not feel a difference.
Yeah, it'd be curious to have one side by side to see if there actually is a difference. Because you get that a lot where people say, "Oh, this is different than the other thing." I'm like, well. Yeah. Probably because you might be remembering incorrectly. If you had them side by side or a blind taste, you might not be able to tell the difference.
Absolutely, unless every beer that new beers are better than the old ones. It's just a fact. So when it comes to pretty much any beer that I had, like Clown Shoes I had 5 years ago, it was amazing. When I have it today, it's either not as good as I remember, or I'm just becoming more of a snob.
Probably a little bit of both.
It probably is.
I'm kind of the same way. It's like things that you thought were amazing years ago. You tried again, and you're kind of like, eh. Yeah. Like what was it? 2 years ago, I had the Yellow Belly Sunday. Yeah. And for me, that was just the most amazing beer I'd ever had in my entire life. Instant 5 out of 5 beer for me. Yeah. And I had it 3 times, just every time I would go somewhere and I saw a bottle of it, I'm like, I know it's expensive as hell. I'm going to buy one anyway. Yeah. And I had it again last year and I was like, I don't know, something's not right. It wasn't as good as I remember it being. And I don't know if it was just the recipe is slightly different or something slightly changed, but it wasn't as cocoa-y and rich and interesting as I remember it being.
No, I definitely noticed that, especially on the Omnipolos beer, that they proof brew in the first batches. But I don't think the problem is that they moved to Doughnut. I think they changed the receipts pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I think they did change their base stout recipe a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it tasted a little different than... I've noticed it tasting different in the last few beers they've released.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems less thicker now, but that's not always bad.
No.
All right.
Okay, so first up is I always felt closer to IPAs than I did to people. It is, let's see, is there any writing on it? It's a double dry hopped with tons of tasty Galaxy, Citrus, Simcoe, and Falconer's Flight. Better be ready for this close to perfect India Pale Ale. 7.5% alcohol by volume. So it's not perfect, but it is close to perfect.
Yeah, sounds good.
How's it smell?
It's there's a lot, of course. We're getting used to this. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not only it's not the regular mosaic going through. I'm not sure what it is, but it's more sticky.
Yeah, it's got a dank kind of dankness to it.
But there's a lot, and there's fruit, of course, the tropics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, the color on this it's pretty hazy.
Yeah. Yellow more than orange.
It's not New England IPA haze, but it is definitely a hazy beer.
Yeah, yeah. And you can actually see some small bubbles working their way up, so they're not solid.
Wow, that is really good.
That is really good. You know, I was a bit afraid from the aroma that it would be a bit artificial. It's definitely not. This
is pretty much like a classic IPA flavor. It's got just a little sweetness on the front, but then it got this really nice, slightly bitter aftertaste to it.
Yes, but still, it's very New England.
Yeah.
It's smooth, it's lean, it's fruity, and it's a little bit like what I like to call creamy, not milky, but like it's quite thick, but still in balance. It feels very good.
Yeah, I love the aftertaste on this. It's so pleasant.
And I just can't stop drinking it.
Yeah, I know. Just says we only have the one can to split.
This is funny. I think it's like the third time we're having an IP that just turns out to be outstanding. People think that, we love all the IPAs, but really hit the spots here.
And the compulsory fun last time was a really good
IPA. Yes, absolutely. That one is Supersonic, and this one is probably the best IPAs I've had this year. And I do try them all.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's really, there's a richness to it. Like you said, creamy kind of richness to the flavor. And then the aftertaste is a kind of tea-ish, slightly bitter.
Slightly bitter, definitely. If we go from the New England, it's too bitter to be straight New England, but everything else is definitely New England. But I can't really put down my finger on the fruit. It's like there's tiny bits of pineapple and mandarins, but it's very balanced. It goes into this typical tropical, the fruit that is called the tropical fruit, whatever that is.
Yeah, I get kind of the pineapple-iness that you're talking about on it. Definitely.
Which is very hard to get in a beer. Although it's not all pineapple, but it's something.
I think it might be I don't know what the Falconer's Flight adds to this, but I think it might be a mixture of the Galaxy and Simcoe with a little bit of citrus, so it's kind of elevating it some.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, the mosaic is so overwhelming, and it's used as pretty much all the beers we drink these days. So it's very nice to get something different. And the citra isn't really shining through either. So I'm not very familiar with Falconer's Flight.
Yeah, I don't know that one either. I love the carbonation on this beer. It is just really great lacing on the glass and just really like little micro bubbles.
It's a very balanced beer. The thickness, and it is quite thick though, but the thickness and the carbonation and the foam is really great. It's like pure white. It's still on there, and creamy, and it sticks to the glass. No, it's a very beautiful beer. And I can't see how anyone would not love this.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so what would you give this?
Well, it's an amazingly good beer, although it is something that I do get a lot. I'm kind of getting bored of this kind of beer. I love them, and I want to drink them all the time, but it's not really something, it's not a new experience that way. Still, this is above 4, definitely. I'll put it at 4.25. I love this beer.
I was going to give it a 4.25 as well. I think it's a really great double dry hopped IPA. I wish we could get this on a regular basis.
Definitely.
It's great.
Yeah. I would buy cases of this, definitely. Yeah. And people are talking summer beer, but what New England isn't a summer beer?
Yeah.
So.
All right, moving on. Next we have the Imperial Doughnut Break. It's 11.5% alcohol by volume, Imperial Porter, with coffee, vanilla, almonds, and donuts added. It says, did the flavors of sugar and bittersweet almonds and coffee and Imperial Biscotti Break also make you sentimental? Now we topped it off with insane amounts of donuts. I'm glad they don't put the calorie count on beers, because this has got to be just a, as they call it, a pastry stout.
Yes. And it's one of those pioneer pastry stouts as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Evil Twin brewed this at Westbrook Brewing, which is why they have all of those Mexican cake, biscotti, whatever else kind of things.
Yeah.
Which are always really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very curious what this one tastes like.
I'm curious too. I checked my Untapped, and I haven't had it since 2014.
Okay, so it's been a few years, so it's almost like having it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's really coffee.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of coffee compared to what I remember. It's like, these specific Vietnamese coffee styles. Yeah. Kind of, it's very raw.
Yeah, it smells like just bitter coffee.
Yeah.
It's on the nose.
Yeah. Not much foam either.
Well, it's a little foamy, like if you swirl this a little bit and you look at the bubbles that form on the side of the glass.
Yeah.
The carbonation is very similar to the IPA. It's
yeah.
And it's just really small little bubbles playing over the top of the surface of the beer.
It's not very oily either.
No.
For a pastry stout. So.
Yeah. So this looks like 11.5% is definitely not a low hitter, but it's not looking as like motor oil viscous as you might think it would be.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, what's your name?
Cheers. It's so easy to drink.
Yeah, that was really smooth.
It just went away.
It kind of tastes like the Noah Pecan mud cake stout.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that playfulness as Noah Pecan has with, a lot of strange flavors going on. This is a lot more subtle. I think I'll need more before
before you pass final judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I had the, I think it's called Even More Denmark or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a 2013 release that they did.
Oh, really?
And it's chocolate and smoked chestnuts.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. It was slightly smoked from the chestnuts.
Yeah.
But it was wasn't like really thick. It was kind of it was an interesting beer.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, I like nuts in beers. It's all kinds of nuts, except hazelnuts. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I don't like hazelnuts in beer either for some reason. I don't know what the...
No, because I love hazelnuts, but I just don't want them in my beer. They go brown somehow.
Yeah.
Well, this is a hard one. I'm a bit underwhelmed because I looked at my Shack games. It was like 5 and 4.75 in 2014.
Yeah. I think it just shows you that we've had so many great stouts that...
Yeah.
This, I'm kind of... I think with you on the underwhelmed part, I'm like, it's good, but it's missing something.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking of this as a pastry stout, as you said. And today, I would not say this is a pastry stout. This is a lot thinner. This is a lot more delicate. I'm thinking like Noix Pecan would kick ass towards this one when it comes to flavor. But this one have a lot of style to it. I'm really surprised how easy it is to drink. It just slips down with that ABV, and also it's not as sweet as I remember.
Yeah, I was thinking this was going to be really, really sweet. Like I would be like going into like a glucose shock or something from the amount of sugar or something.
Yeah, like should we really share this on only 2 people?
Yeah, I might need 3 or 4 people to. But no, it's not particularly sweet. I mean, the aftertaste isn't like really sweet on the lips and tongue. There's no big sweet punch whenever you swallow it. It's very balanced between the coffee and the vanilla.
Yeah. However, I don't get the donut. I used to get the donut.
Did you? I don't know what the donut would taste like other than very pronounced vanilla flavor. But yeah, I don't know that the donuts are really adding anything to this other than calories.
Well, I should probably shut up because you're American, and me speaking about donuts would be pretty stupid.
No. I mean, you lived in America. I don't eat donuts, so I mean, I haven't had donuts in a while. So
you don't eat donuts?
No,
you're like the cookie god.
Yeah, the donuts. Donuts mess with my blood sugar too much, so I try not to eat them. I'll have one, but then I have to eat something immediately afterwards.
No, but really, I'm thinking like, one of those brown donuts with white glazing and struzzles on top of it.
Yeah.
I could definitely feel that in the old one, and of course, with my mind set on it, I can imagine it. But this is way too delicate. It's like, fine art made from a pastry stout somehow, and I'm not sure I'm into fine art. It's good though. It's good, but it's not what I expected.
Yeah, it's not a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination. I just think it's a little underwhelming by what I was expecting, based on the coffee, vanilla, almonds, donuts. I mean, I would expect maybe to have kind of a marzipan flavor to it.
Yes.
But it doesn't have any of that. It's just slightly sweet. There's some nice coffee notes, a little vanilla, but I don't see how the almonds and the donuts are playing in this.
No.
In any way whatsoever.
No, I agree. It's there is some bubbly, sticky thing in the aftertaste that stays around, but it's not enough to make a real difference. But it's a very dangerous beer. I mean,
at 11.5%, this will sneak up on you pretty fast.
Yeah.
You do not get any kind of alcohol on this at all.
No, and you can pretty much drink this in the same pace as you drink the IPA.
Yeah.
Well, not this IPA, because it was wonderful, but a normal IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So what are some... okay, we'll go ahead and give this a grade. I'm just going to give this, I think, a 3.5.
Yeah. Well, I still think it's pretty nice. I'll give it a 3.75, but I'm deeply disappointed. I was expecting like 4.5, but
I was expecting a 4.25, 4.5 as well.
Yeah,
and it's not bad. It's a really good beer, but at the same time, I think at the price point, and you can get other stouts that are a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't really make an impression. If I'm going to convince a Guinness drinker to drink a real stout, this would not be enough.
No.
So, yep.
All right. So what are some of your... So when you see Evil Twin, do you tend to go towards the IPAs or towards the stouts?
That's a good question. Well, it's also...
Or is there another style that they do that you like? Oh, really, the Gozes are where it's at.
Well, if we were talking, I was in the States and I knew they were fresh, I would go for the blonde ones. And I would say that they're... they had this yuzu beer a while back, and I don't remember the name of that series. Something, these long names, and they had different. One was yuzu, for instance.
Okay.
Whatever. Well, I really love Evil Twin.
Yeah.
And I think they keep the high standards today as they did before, and it's one of the few breweries I really like both IPAs and blacks from. But if I buy them over here, I would be very careful with the IPAs because they're usually old.
Well, it depends on, I think, which IPAs you're getting. I think if it's some of their regular rotation stuff, it's pretty old, but they've been putting out stuff, shipping it over pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I feel like their new stuff, you're going to get pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Not the 2 weeks off of the canning line fresh, probably. But, within the first month or month and a half, I think. Which is, for me, is kind of where I want to IPA anyway. I think that fresh off the canning line, it usually gets too raw in the hops.
Well, we can talk about that forever, but I'd say that when it comes to the New England style, I'm pretty sure that I had a lot of Cloudwater 6 months old that I've been very happy with. They even improved over time. So when it comes to New England, they last a lot better. And also, when you buy over the internet, you get usually better dates than if you buy in Denmark, for instance. And Systembolaget have good stuff, or at least I tried. So no, the question, like, if I would buy the lighter or the darker, I would buy Evil Twin.
Yeah. I can't say there's been too many Evil Twins I've been really disappointed with.
No, and if I've been disappointed, it's still been interesting.
Yeah.
So it's
there are very few that are just flat out bombs. Almost everything has something of interest going on.
Yes, and if you compare Evil Twin to Mikkeller have improved a lot. I have to say that. Over the years, Evil Twin have never really disappointed me, while Mikkeller really have. When we're talking about the twins, right?
Well, there's Mikkeller hit a drop right about the same time that 2.0 got started.
Exactly.
And they just were making just horrible beers.
Yes.
And then what I felt like at that point was the entire Scandinavian marketplace was just trying to copy Mikkeller beers. Yeah. Because there were all these kind of really bitter, aggressive beers. And then over the last 4 years or so, everyone's kind of found their voice, as it were.
Yeah. It's
and now you're seeing, a lot more diversity and influences coming from different directions.
Yeah. I think Mikkeller today is fantastic and rarely disappoint me because they write on the bottle what it is.
Yeah.
And of course they make a lager, I can stay away or whatever.
Yeah.
But like their Mikkeller Yuzu 2.2%, amazing. What a great initiative of a great beer for lightweighter as well. But Evil Twin, you mentioned 2L came up, and 2L used to be my favorite brewery for a long time.
Oh, mine too.
And they really dropped, but they're back now.
I agree. They hit a slump about a year ago or a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Where they were just I'm not really crazy about them anymore. But in the past 6 months or so, just been killing it with great stuff.
They're actually putting out. I mean, they had all their classes like the Sud series and the Garden of Eden, especially these crossover IPAs were great. And then they stopped putting out good new stuff for, I'd say, 2 years. But now they're actually like we saw in the calendar, but also at Systembolaget at this release, the Haze one. They can really do new stuff, so I'm looking forward to it.
And the 1 ton of series has been, at least the one that I've tried, was really, really good.
Yeah, I was disappointed yesterday, but
because you had the 1 ton of cranberry, right?
Yeah.
And I had the 1 ton of something berry. I can't remember. I don't know if it was blackberry or another berry.
No, I think I think I checked you up. I think it was the same beer.
It wasn't cranberry. It was something because it was on tap at what's it called? Memo Tap Room.
Yeah, all right.
Is where I tried it.
Yeah.
And
missed that one.
And it was really, really good.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com. Of course, Spotify, where you can find us and many other great podcasts. So be sure to subscribe there. What's it called? Instagram, Facebook. Those are the main. iTunes.
YouTube,
yes, YouTube as well, where we're getting more and more followers every day. So please subscribe to us on our many outlets and places you can find us online. So, Adrian, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, keep drinking.